Hey everybody, Al Puglisi, another episode of Al Puglisi Trains. You know, when I first started over here as an apprentice almost 4 years ago, this May to be 4 years with Howard, Howard had a lot of drawings of concepts that he designed. This is one of them. It was a power plant that he'd never built, and I fell in love with this power plant and convinced Howard to build it. And if you go on my channel, go into my past episodes, items for sale, you'll see the HO build of this. When we sold that to a client, and these are available in O scale and HO scale. But I decided I wanted one for my upcoming O scale layout and also to show our O scale clients in case they want something. So let me show it to you. Go. Well, Howard, how are you doing today?
No comment.
Okay. And this is the power plant. And as you heard, I just got done telling folks that you designed this. Tell us why you designed this.
Well, I had a client I was working with in a 7,000 square foot layout that he was building out in Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
And we were out there, and I probably built about 30 buildings. I can't remember how many. No, it wasn't that many. Whatever, it was a chunk of buildings.
Okay.
And I did some sketches where I was out there on things he wanted. And one of them was the Havermill, as he called it, power plant. And finally, he liked it and brought the sketch back. Then he got incapacitated, apparently passed away, and that was the end of the job.
Wow.
But it was going to be one hell of a job with 7,000 square foot O scale.
Wow.
So there's a lot of the buildings I sold to brasstrains.com because I never delivered them. And this power plant, I never really liked that much because I had his input into it. But I translated his likings and his desires onto a sketch pad.
Uh-huh.
I brought that sketch pad back, and Al saw it, and he's...
I gotta have
you
it.
saw it. It's better. And he wanted me to build it. I said, no, I'm not going to build that thing. I just didn't really like it. It is my design, but I had some of Jeff. His name was Jeff, and I had some of his input into it.
Wow.
So finally, Al, after several years, he talked me into building it. I built the first one in HO. And surprisingly, it didn't last long.
Right. It sold quickly.
Yeah, it sold quickly. So then Al wanted to build an O scale, and here he is now. I must have. When Al came to me, he had a lot of good things on the table. He was quite skilled. All he's doing now is this. I guess you would say honing his skills. And this is one of his. He built this thing 100%. I had nothing to do with this. And he did a hell of a job. It's my design, but I'll build the whole thing.
Wow. Yeah, Howard, I really appreciate it. And, you know, there's different, again, folks, you can get, we said this before in the HO video, you can buy power plants, but if you want uniqueness, this is the ticket. And that's what we're all about. And the HO one had, can you rotate it a little bit, Howard, this way? The HO one had a modification to the side here so the coal cars could go directly into the building. I decided I wanted a siding in the back for my layout, and the coal cars are either going to be flipped over with a coal loader, or they're going to be up on a ramp, or maybe a bottom feed coal car, but they're going to be fed. The track will have the either the flipper or bottom feeder siding to feed the coal into the back of the building. Go ahead and rotate it a little more, Howard.
I'm going to slide it this way a little bit.
All right. It's big. It's 44 inches long on this diorama by 14 inches wide.
I need a hand.
All right. Let me pause this, Howard. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it's big. So on my layout, I decided to have rear coal feed for this. And like I said, there's a number of different ways you can do this. You can have a ramp, you can have a flipper, you can have bottom feeding. And some people wrote me and said there's no such thing as a bottom dumping coal car. Oh yes, there are, folks. You can get on YouTube and see video of prototype bottom, they dump the coal out of the very bottom of the car while they're sitting there. So there's all different kinds of ways to get coal into this structure. And again, I decided to use the rear for that. But again, an option could be going in the side, going right inside the building. So those are just options for you. So let me let me pause this and let's flip it around and I'll show you another view. Or Howard, if you can, there we go. Now, this great big addition on the side is called a transfer station. The beauty of this design is this transfer station can either be external or it can be housed inside this building here. So you don't need to have the additional size of this transfer station. This transfer station takes up about 1 foot by 1 foot, doesn't it, Howard?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So that adds about another $1,000 to the cost of the model because it's very tedious to build. There's a lot going on, and you can get the model with the outside transfer, or you can get it without the transfer.
Well, you have to understand, though, you say $1,000 more. All these little things have to be assembled.
Yes.
And built. And I see you do this. You built it on the HO and you built this one.
Yes.
And you got a good 15 or 16 hours in just building a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the cost of it?
Modifying it, yeah. Modifying it to be more on O scale. And this thing has a full interior, folks. And when I get it outside, I'm going to let the sun shoot through it so you can see it. And let me give you an aerial view.
We did change the stacks of this because it's pretty high.
Yes.
It has to keep the low-flying airplanes away from it.
Yes, Howard, you were telling me that the red and white stacks is to keep the low-flying airplanes away.
Well, the BWI. Any power plant is going to be in a city.
Yes.
And obviously, the city is going to have a municipal or whatever airport.
Yes. I like, and Howard suggested those colors, and I fell in love with them, folks. It's fantasy, but again, it's something unique. For you O-scalers or HO people out there, there's power plant options, but it ain't going to look like this. And if you want something incredibly unique, this is the ticket. And there's a lot going on the roof.
Question. Is this going on your layout or is this for sale?
This is going on my layout.
Oh, on your layout.
Yeah.
But you realize you have no room.
Yes, but we can build one for you, folks. And again,
you got to build a whole new house.
Yes, we could do that too, but we can build one of these for you, folks. Now, the HO one, I think, Howard, was about 23 inches, 22 inches, but
basically half the size of that.
By about 9 inches. And again, this takes up a footprint of 14 by 44 inches with the transfer station. Without the transfer station, it's far more compact. So let me get it outside in a natural light and show it to you. Well, folks, here we are out in the sun before I stick it in the van. Speaking of delivery, this one would be really tricky to ship. Rather work out a delivery with you. But all of that can be arranged. There's a full interior in this thing. You can kind of see the sun shining through it. And there are 3 generators in there, and then a gigantic one in the center. And there are more of them in that wing. And this has optional super detailing with a lot of stuff going on. And there's a lot of suits, a lot of guys wearing suits. And the reason they're wearing suits is they're getting an inspection. So there's a lot of guys in suits inside inspecting the power plant. There's a lot of activity going on. And something like this, you definitely want a light, but I just wanted to show you the natural light coming through the structure. I just think it adds a lot to it. And then we got a guy down here, he's lazy on the job, and we got a suit ready to come up on him and say, hey, what are you doing there, man? You're not working. What's going on here? You know what, folks? Before I stick this in the van, I never did shoot the back. So here's the back outside in the natural sun. And again, you can look through and you can see the inside of this thing. We're letting all the natural light in and all the splendor of it. So I want to thank Howard for allowing me to build this, and we can build these for you too, folks. They're not inexpensive, but if you want one, contact us at alpug1@verizon.net, and we can do one in HO or O scale for you. And we can modify sizes to fit possibly your size requirements as well, and your track requirements as well. Thanks so much for watching this.